Good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another episode of Reconstructing Minds Incorporated. My name is Brother Shantario, aka Brother Midnight. I'm coming to you with another session, and this session will be dealing with stop the violence. Stop the violence. This session will be based on not only just teaching, but really getting into the grip of the issues that face our younger generation and some of our older generation as well. So it is my duty to set the tone for this movement that is eating at and killing the youth. You know, we need an avenue to redirect the minds of our youth. They have been behooved into a lifestyle of criminal behavior and habits. And I just want to share some very important information concerning what we can do to save our youth. And it begins, brothers and sisters, with stopping the violence. I want to read a letter to you from March of 1995 from our beloved Mr. Larry Hoover Sr. when he was doing time. So, as he is still serving time in ADX Federal Penitentiary in Florence, Colorado, I want to bring to your attention a letter that was written in March of 1995. And also a Stop the Violence letter that was also written. So it's a lot of information to cover, and I'll be reading more than teaching, but I will leave you with something that will initialize a change in the way we think through cognitive reconstructing and really getting out into our communities and saving the youth. March 1995. To all my brothers and sisters of the struggle, FR, the Honorable Chairman, following his 13th parole denial. I learned this week for the 13th time that I have once again been denied parole. My thoughts, as they have been for years now, are for my family and the view. My sons, who have grown from infants to men during my imprisonment, and their mother, whose commitment has been unwavering, all continue to pay with me the price for the terrible crime I committed, for which I am solely and fully responsible. They have been strong as the families of tens of thousands of other Black prisoners have been and must be strong every day of their lives. But brothers and sisters, we must have more than strength. We must have vision. We must have vision too. We must see that we ourselves are the victims of the crimes that ignorance, poverty, hopelessness, and drugs leads us to commit. We must see that just as no man is an island, we all wear the shackles of the ghetto. We are all ghetto prisoners. Our only hope for release is to use our strength and vision in the cause of change. Ignorance is our enemy. We must honor learning and those who learn. Poverty is our enemy. We must gather our pennies and dollars and use them in our communities. Hopelessness. Hopelessness is our enemy, and we must organize and vote by the hundreds of thousands to give voice to the voiceless. Drugs are our enemy, destroying many of us with the lure of profit. We must join with our voices with those across the land of whites and blacks, churchgoers and convicts, gays and straights, and all who share the purpose of taking the profit out of drugs and ending the slaughter made easy by guns. Whether and when I will be released is beyond my control. Whether my personal destiny, whatever my personal destiny may be, I will fight to strive to strike the shackles that imprison us all. In the words of Mr. Larry Hoover Sr., he continues to keep swinging at it. Keep swinging at it. Another letter is from the 21st Century Vote, United in Peace, an open letter to call for peace. A personal appeal from Larry Hoover, reaching from the inside out. Peace among the ranks and files of all organizations, gangster disciples, Black disciples, vice lords, Latin kings, Stones, El Rukins, Spanish gangster disciples, Spanish Cobras, and other factions is necessary. Our communities are being corroded with elements of destruction. Black on Black crime has risen to immeasurable heights. Our criminal activities have risen to an outrageous level of degradation. We've invited the widespread visibility of the man in blue to police us because of our actions. Our parents, relatives, and other people fear us. They fear us going into the homes to steal, rob them of their valuables. They fear going to the store for groceries or currency exchanges to cash their checks. Then we have shootings in the playground areas where little children in school grounds where they are trying to learn. Thus, parents fear sending their kids to school. These actions of robbery, shootings, and rapes must end for us to cease the unjustified actions of the police. We can end their stability of unnecessary harassment upon our community and stop them justifying their own criminal activities of searches upon the homes and personal properties of our parents and other relatives. If we end our own radical actions, because of what we do, the police react upon innocent people of the CHA units like they're in Africa, with searches and disrespecting their constitutional rights. If we unite upon this call for peace, we can end them justifying their unlawful treatment. Look at the behavior of the organizations behind the walls of Stateville, Pontiac, Menard, and the many other correctional institutions throughout the state. We go We get along together, play ball together, sleep in the same cells together, laugh, cry, and suffer together. Likewise, in the outside world, we should be able to live together and communicate together about any problem that we may differ upon to find peaceful solutions. The time is now for a total refocusing of our efforts away from non-productive distractions and other elements of temptations and focus towards those disciples that will make us real men in our community. We must stop the gang banging and drive-bys. Our race is being destroyed by the killings of our own youth. We must stop hating one another because of the color, jacket, or hat that is worn, and the way a person wears his hat. These actions only feed the fire to destruction. And finally, in my sincere appeal for peace and unity, those of us that have experience being our brother's keeper, we must educate our members around us. Education brings about awareness. Awareness generates the ability to think. Our youth must know the end result of crime is shame, disgrace, and imprisonment to themselves as well as the community. We must come to the point of outlawing those who willfully disrupt our communities and our call for peace and unity. Crime must not be accepted as the normal way of doing things, for we are all together riding on the same boat, passengers at the moment on the river of destruction. If we don't take heed to these few words, we're going to drown together in the sea of destruction. Through peace and unity, we can live. So we have heard the March 1995 letter from the master of the vision himself, and also the 21st Century Vote, United in Peace, open letter, the call for peace, a personal appeal for Mr. Larry Hoover Sr. himself. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to tie in the teaching from the blueprint, 360 cycle of life, the energy that we put in to negativity will only beget negativity. The energy that we put in the positivity will reap positivity. This call to stop the violence is very, very, very important, brothers and sisters. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina myself. Each day, almost, when I turn on the news, some young kid is being killed, shot dead, because he wants to represent the hood. He wants to see what the true nature of being in the ghetto is really all about. And some of us who are older, of the older generation, we're sowing into that negativity. We're sowing into that negativity because we're not giving them or showing them a legitimate way of life by working a job, going to school, being an active voice in their community, setting up education programs, big brother and big sister programs, those things that are conducive to helping stop the violence. This is a personal appeal for Mr. Larry Hoover Sr. himself. We must do everything that we can to educate those in our communities on stopping the violence, being an active voice in your community and showing people, not just sitting back on social media, not just sitting back and saying, oh, they're gonna do it anyway. Getting out into our communities and saving our youth. I have 2 teenagers myself. My daughter's actually getting ready to turn 13 next month. And I want to do everything that I can to be positive and productive for them, to show them that, you know, if you apply yourself to greatness, you can achieve greatness through education. I myself am working on a Bachelor of Science in Addiction Counseling, and I'm in my 2nd year, 2 more years to go, and by the grace of Allah, I'll be graduating in 2024. I just wanted to share this vital information with you, brothers and sisters, so we can change the dynamic of what's going on. Okay, so we're going to get into this 360 cycle of life and how it ties in to helping us change the energy from negative to positive. On page 47, it says the universal law is the awareness that there are 360 degrees of love, life, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in all peoples of the earth. That life has within it the necessary strength to gather from itself. All this is needed for its growth and development. Love is the one creative force of all existence. Life is the one creative force of love and action. Loyalty is serving in cooperation with an organized scheme of things. Knowledge is the ability to grow and develop through study, observation, and application. Wisdom gives us the ability to apply knowledge wisely, and understanding is the crowning point of all our principles. Page 55 says, love, which is humankind's first universal law of existence and the beginning and the end of the 360 cycle of life, represented by the 6-pointed star of David, which is our cipher. Okay. Page 67 says, if you kick a cat, the energy in that kick will travel through your 360 cycle of life and returns to its source, you. In other words, that 360 cycle of life that returns to you is karma. Whatever you put out into this world will return to you. If you're putting out violence, violence will befall you. If you're putting out any negativity at all, it will befall you. If you're putting out positivity, it's going to come back to you. You know what I'm saying? Cognitive reconstructing deals with, if we change the way in order to change the way we feel, we have to change the way we think. So if I think positive, if I'm out in my community doing things in a positive and productive manner, the benefits that I will reap is good karma. That energy that we put out into the world will return to us through a 360-degree cycle of life. Page 89, it says the true link between a physical action and a thought action is separated by 360 degrees. In other words, our thoughts travel the same 360 degrees that our physical actions. The act of thinking returns to use in the form of results, in that we become what we think. The results of our thoughts, not the intent, is the completion of its transverse on our 360-degree cycle of life, and is recognized as what determines the rewards or afflictions, allowed or disallowed in us. This process is what creates our temperament. Okay, our temperament, the definition for this is a person or an animal's nature, especially as it permanently affects the behavior. So in order to change how we feel, we must change the way we think. And when we change the way we think from negative to positive, that positive energy, brothers and sisters, returns to us in this 360-degree cycle of life. It says this process is what creates our temperament, and for us to understand this process will be the first step. There are 3 levels of temperament, brothers and sisters, that represent our behaviors. Okay, the lowest level of temperament is inertia. Inertia represents idleness, unwillingness to change, or laziness. The second level is aggressiveness, and the capacity to be agitated by outside forces. The third and best level is peace of mind. Peace of mind. In order to change or create the dynamic of peace within ourselves and peace within our communities, peace amongst our youth. In order to change the way we feel, we have to change the way we think and come to a level that is most important in our lives, brothers and sisters, which is a peace of mind. It says the third and best level is a peace of mind and the ability to remain undisturbed by outside forces. We must educate our youth to be undisturbed by outside forces. Some of us like negativity. Some of us can't live without it. But if that's what you want to do, keep it to yourself. Don't teach the youth that. Don't teach the youth that. You're disrupting organizational unity amongst the brothers and sisters. You're the main reason for the inertia that exists within the hearts and minds of the youth. That's why they're at their standstill. They're being lazy. Our actions reflect the way we think. We have to change the way we think through cognitive reconstructing. It says each person has a little of these in his mental makeup. However, the aim of the new concept is to eliminate our inertia by urging to become industrious and productive, to change our past aggressiveness to assertiveness, and to promote a peace of mind that is calm, tranquil, and balanced through the use of wisdom, which gives us the ability to apply knowledge wisely, which is our 5th principle, brothers and sisters. We must do all that we can to help stop the violence in our communities. You have heard a personal appeal from Mr. Larry Hoover himself the 21 Century Vote, the United in Peace Initiative. Please, let's do all that we can to help save our youth by stopping the violence. I want to take this moment to acknowledge one of our most outstanding personnel. For those of you who don't know, this is the Honorable Wallace Gator Bradley, one of the co-founders of the United in Peace Initiative, which was founded by himself and our beloved Mr. Larry Hooper Sr. I also want to acknowledge Brother Carl Smith, who is the Executive Director for the United in Peace Initiative. He is also known by Brother Noble Amir Ali. They are setting the tone. This is his book. This is his book. For those who can't see it, it's kind of blurry because of this light. This is his book, Murder to Excellence, Growth and Development for the Millennial Generation. This is an outstanding book. I've been reading it. It is an outstanding read. And in this book, you have people like Kanye West and Jay-Z. I want to just read you a short excerpt from the book on page 9. It's talking about how Brother Jay-Z and Kanye West walked on 79th and South Shore in Southside Chicago, and they seen the dynamics of what was going on within Chicago. They were on a tour called Watch the Throne Tour. And Jay-Z and Kanye West, really, understood what was going on at that time. And they had a song or a movement called Ham. And, one of the things that Kanye West spoke about, I just want to read you some. This is on page 9. It says, "We have to rethink, re-inspire, wash the brain, don't brainwash, and allow people to think for themselves. Being present, amazing, but present amazing options to the best of what you know the truth to be. I feel like people can find themselves sooner." This is a real good read, man. Like I said, whoever don't know Mr. Gator Bradley, he came from the mud. He started from the mud, brothers and sisters. To put it in this millennial generation context of speaking, and look at him now. He's traveling all over the United States, giving back, brothers and sisters, giving back. I'm talking about this brother has many connections to government officials, local, state, and federal. And this is what growth and development is all about. This book was written specifically for the millennial generation. to allow them to see that you can live a positive and productive life by changing the way you think. One of the definitions for life, according to the teachings of the blueprint, life is growth and development towards a particular purpose. He found his purpose, brothers and sisters, by setting a standard for the millennial generation. I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for your time and effort. I want to take this time out to also acknowledge Johnny Crusher Jackson in all his righteous endeavors. I want to acknowledge Terenzi Bible Wilson in all his righteous endeavors, setting a standard, leading by example. We truly appreciate you and all that you do. These brothers are truly living the vision and doing the work. Love, honor, and respect to the leadership. Love and respect to all my brothers and sisters. If you are paying attention to these awareness sessions and you're liking, or you're in agreement with what's being said and done, I want you to hit the like button and subscribe to Positive Lifestyle Management, Project Righteous Endeavors, and Reconstructing Minds Incorporated. Love, family.